This presentation was given to me by Dr. Aafia Siddiqui, the sister of Dr. Aafia Siddiqui, and she sent it to me about 5 hours ago from her home in Karachi. And about an hour after she sent that to me, a little girl was dropped off in a car and left to wander outside Dr. Aafia Siddiqui's home. And she began crying, and the neighbours came out and they started talking to the little girl, and she didn't understand them because she didn't understand Urdu, and she spoke only English with an American accent. She's about 11 years old, and there is a possibility that this little girl might be Dr. Aafia Siddiqui's daughter, Miriam, so please make dua. The police have taken her fingerprints and other samples, and should be DNA tested to see if she is the missing daughter of Dr. Aafia Siddiqui. I'm told that Fauzia is not holding out too much hope. That family has had so many false starts and false hopes raised that she's not too optimistic. But there will be an announcement made tomorrow about the identity of the little girl, who I think was about 2 or 3 years old when she was pulled away from her mother, and this little girl who turned up just a few hours ago is about 11 years old. So, as I say, make dua that is another of the missing children. Because when we talk about Dr. Aafia Siddiqui, it's really Aafia plus 3. Because when Aafia went missing, she went missing with a baby in arms, Suleiman, and her daughter Miriam, and her son Ahmed. But I'll come on to those later. I just want to quickly go through this this presentation, which has been prepared by the family, so it is accurate, and so if we go on to the background of the case. And it's described here as one of the most intriguing, confusing and horrifying to emerge from the so-called war on terror. It is the only publicised case involving the disappearance of a highly educated, practicing Muslim woman and 3 young children, the youngest of whom was only 6 months old when they disappeared. After 7 years, 2 of the youngest children remain missing to this day. Well, you're probably among the first, certainly in the UK and in Pakistan, to know that maybe the little girl has turned up. There are eyewitness accounts and allegations by human rights groups that 3 governments refused to acknowledge or allow for any sort of independent investigation into the disappearance of Dr. Aafia Siddiqui. The case involves an array of human rights violations ranging from rendition, torture, and physical and mental abuse. The abuses and violations of human rights continue to this day in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, which is where Aafia was held during her trial. So who is Dr. Aafia Siddiqui? Well, she is the youngest of 3 children born to a middle-class family in Karachi. Her passions include education. She had a great love of animals and children. And she went to America at a young age to pursue a higher education, and she later returned to the country that she loves, her country, Pakistan. She obtained a degree from MIT and a PhD from Brandeis, and she is the mother of 2 boys and 1 girl. Now, if we begin with the catalogue of human rights violations, to help grasp the types of abuses and violations, these are broken down into 4 categories. First, the period of secret detention from 2003 to 2008. Then the period between the emergence and the indictment from July 2008 to the August. Then there is the period of recorded pre-trial detention from August 2008 until February this year. And then finally the period of post-conviction, which is the period that we're in at the moment. Aafia Siddiqui was missing for 5 years from March 2003 to July 2008. And I carried out my own investigation, and a lot of what I discovered tallies in with what the family know, and certainly what cage prisoners know, because cage prisoners first brought the plight of Aafia Siddiqui to the wider world back in 2003. So cage prisoners were quite on the ball right from the beginning when Aafia disappeared. What we all agree with is that Aafia was illegally kidnapped and renditioned and tortured, along with her 3 children. As I say, this is Aafia plus 3. A lot has been made of the fact that 2 of Aafia's children are US citizens. However, I would say that the youngest child, Suleiman, who was 6 months old, is a Pakistani citizen, but that does not make his life worth anything less. And what we're saying is quite an amazing thing, that Aafia was kidnapped along with her children, renditioned, tortured, put in Bagram along with her 3 children, and was hidden away from 2003 until 2008. And the illegal detention and abuse of Aafia was also meted out to her children. Aafia's captors did not give a receipt for where they held her or who they really were, but they spoke fluent English with American and Indian accents. Now, I've met Ahmed, the eldest boy, who is now living at the family home, and Ahmed doesn't speak very good Urdu, but his English is excellent. What we've been able to establish during this secret detention is that there was all sorts of physical and mental abuse. I mean, they mention here conventional torture. It's outrageous when you think about it, that we've come to a stage where we look at conventional torture. The use of threats to children as a means to interrogate and manipulate, and I would say to all the mothers in here today, what would you sign? What would you admit to if it would stop any one of your children from being tortured? Just the threat of your children being tortured. What would you sign? What would you admit to? We understand that Aafia was used as a guinea pig. She had chemical and psychological experimentation carried out